It's time for Shake, Rattle, and Troll, a show for the serious fishermen, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to the Sunday edition of Shake, Rattle, and Troll. Today we're going to have some fun and hopefully learn some stuff. JK's in the house, president of the ADA. Scott Corcoran is in from Nebraska, Southwest Fur Harvesters. And you're the vice president?
Yep, I'm vice president.
And then we're surrounded by greatness. We have Tom McMahon, AZGFD AIS coordinator, in a Hawaiian shirt. Aloha.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to wake everybody up. So.
I love
yes,
it.
Aloha.
I like
and
your,
mahalo.
I like your style. Everybody's got camo on. We have Hawaiian shirts. We're doing something wrong.
Between the two of you, it's the oxymoron of the world. You are in direct total camo. Couldn't almost see you against the walls. And then Tom was.
Nice. Well, we have a special song. You familiar with Zach Brown?
I'm probably going to become familiar with
the Toes song.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, my goodness.
That'll work.
All righty. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on this week. You just got back from Nebraska on a hunt. How'd that turn out?
Oh, it was hot. I only hunted a couple days.
Hot in Nebraska?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Oh, God, don't even tell me that.
I was clear down in southwestern Missouri, down by it's called Jericho Springs. It was about 85, 90 degrees with humidity.
Oh, man, I don't want to hear this.
I tried to do a little turkey and squirrel hunting, but it didn't go over well. Ended up sitting on my friend's back porch and watching squirrels run around in the afternoon. It was so hot.
Pop them from the porch.
But
I'm doing Missouri next week.
There's plenty of turkeys in there.
Well, yeah,
they're everywhere.
I called my buddy. I said, "You find turkeys yet? Did you go out?" He goes, "No, I'm over at my mom's sitting on the porch watching 11 of them." Really?
That's what we did the night before the season opened. We sat back there and there was turkeys running all over his pastures. But we couldn't find them that morning. Put a little time. If I had more time, we'd have found it for it cooled down a little bit.
Man.
I was soaking wet from the dew in the morning. My feet and pants were wet, and then in the afternoon, once the sun came out, couldn't hardly wear camo. It was so dang hot. But we had a good time. Me and my buddy Mark, we always have fun when we get together.
I just had a flash of a bad vision of him running around in camo skivvies, and I'm like,
"Oh, nice! Oh, no,
don't need that."
Oh, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, JK, we've had an interesting week, and Tom, I know you're right in the middle of the federal shutdown.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not tracking on any of it. There's such an uproar statewide with the folks I've been talking to. The angling community is up in arms. As always, it's always something with these guys. But
I'll tell you what, fishermen have it a lot worse than we do as hunting community, because hunting community, they can't lock a forest up. They just can't do it. I mean, we can walk in anywhere we want to. On a lake, on the other hand, if you don't have a ramp to get your boat down, you're sunk.
Well, virtually we have 5 Salt River Lake chains shut down. Did they shut down Alamo?
No, that's a state park.
That's a state park.
Yeah.
I thought the BLM had a finger in that, or the Corps of Engineers, I guess.
They may, but I don't think they have a jurisdiction on perhaps the boat ramps. I can't say for sure, but that would be my take on it. And you're hitting it right in the head that the public just doesn't seem to understand. When they said public, a shutdown of the government, like, so what?
Who cares?
How's it really going to affect me? And first off, I have certainly a lot of friends that are, work for the federal government that right now are sitting at home trying to figure out what. Okay, this is nice. What's going on here? But when you get down to it, the Grand Canyon. I mean, it's on my license plate, for Pete's sakes. We're the Grand Canyon state, so we have that to deal with.
Not anymore.
And then,
yeah.
Well, and I don't know. Our governor's probably trying to do something. I know Fife kind of stepped in a few years back and said, well, we're going to go up there and kind of reopen it. Well, I guess they're trying to figure that out. But the thing that really gets us, right here in Central Arizona, of course, the town of National Forest. And, good people up there working, but they're sitting home. And literally access points, like you guys talked about, the boat ramps, just not open.
Well,
so
I think
they're gated, and there it goes. There's still a place to get in to fish, but, it's tough to get your boat in.
Well,
so that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Interesting. Well, that was the deal. The commission had a couple of meetings this week, telephonic commissions, trying to pull all the commissioners together during the middle of the week. It's kind of like herding cats, but, we had a good representation on Friday, and they passed a motion to, go deal with the government, trying to figure out what we're going to do with it. Let me ask you a question. So something came to mind. We went through this in, 95, 97?
Yeah, somewhere in there. I think it was 96, 97.
Why is this a big surprise?
I don't know. Are you talking about from the game and fish perspective, or just surprised at the public in general?
I get why it happened, but no, from the department standpoint, because I know we have MOUs and MOAs and everything in place, especially with Tonto, and I have to tell you, the fishing community, when Tonto comes back to work, shame on them. They're going to have some answering to do to begin with, because as you know, they had a lot of ramps shut down. They had a lot of camping facilities shut down. They revamped and made tournament permitting processes absolutely as inconvenient as they can, and we're going to change that. Either that, or we'll just make an offer to buy Tonto National Forest, and
why not?
I'm just saying. If you go back to the state's charter, at some point in time, all of this federal land was supposed to have been turned over to the state.
I think we'd run it better than they do.
Oh, yeah?
And besides, what's the difference between regular operation hours and when they're all on furlough? You never see anybody out there anyhow.
Anyway. No, absolutely not. And Gila County does the Lakes Patrol. Game and Fish is out there on a regular basis doing their patrol. There is security. There is authority there. So whether they're on furlough or stuffed in their office wherever they are, they're not out there anyway. In the big thing we got out of talking to a couple of them over there was, the toilet facilities are shut down and there won't be any trash pickup.
Big deal.
And the tournament directors, they're pretty darn good about pack it in, pack it out, and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see where this ends up. How long do you think this will go? You got the inside track.
Yeah,
you're the expert.
Yeah, thanks. Oh well, then we're really hurting if I'm the expert. But I believe it or not, I was actually in Washington D.C. last week. I was there because
Did you go to the wolf meeting?
Oh no!
Those are wolves on his shirt.
Right,
Look at that.
Yeah, that's invasive species. I'm just saying.
I won't comment on that. But I was in Washington D.C. because, of course, Congress doesn't shut down. Well, the government shut down. But anyway, so
when somebody does so little, so seldom, it doesn't really matter.
Had some nice visits though, but being there was just surreal. Because literally they had put barriers around, some of the Capitol Mall. If you've been there, it's an open area for Pete's sakes. But they put barriers around some of it, and you probably well know what happened with some veterans that tried to visit, and they actually were able to visit. So I think it was a big deal that there was much ado about nothing. But the point was they still had barriers around there. You're like, well, what's going on here? And it's almost similar to what is happening here in Arizona as far as we just closed that gate. Well, okay, thanks. That's nice. But as far as the timing of it, boy,
it's strategic. This
Absolutely.
is politically dedicated to make sure that the public at large is well aware of what's going on, because otherwise we'd never feel a thing.
Right.
You and I and normal people who don't rely on the government to provide us with our lifelines, we don't know what's going on. We seldom, if ever, see government employees in our, gee, you know what, though? I'll tell you what, I wonder if the IRS is still working.
Yes.
I don't believe they'd categorically fit in the non-essential category.
Well, it depends on whose opinion you're looking at.
Well,
but as far as the timing thing, I'm no politician or understand politics that much, but it seems like that debt ceiling thing that is coming up with the next. I have a funny feeling it's just going to continue on to that, and then finally they're going to figure it out, and poof, magically say, well, see, we have no problem now. So I think it's going to be a few weeks, and again, you're just talking to a good old fish biologist from the Game and Fish Department. And that's kind of sad to say, because that's just going to continue to open the wound further and further and further.
Well, life has to go on, but I think this is a time for the public, as it were, us, to get our stuff together, organize, and deal with some of the problems that we have on a regular basis. I can't tell you how pissed off I am at Tono on their behavior anyway, as a general rule. And, there's a lot of good people over there, like you said. And the constraints that we deal with don't necessarily come out of 24th Street and McDowell. They don't. They come from higher up. And
no, I'll tell you what. A lot of the stuff that comes out of 24th Street and McDowell is what you're seeing on the land every day. For them, the way they treat the incoming fishermen, through what we've heard, through all the people who are being harassed by Gila County, those guys are working hand in glove with the guys from 24th Street and McDowell. I'm sorry, I don't like the way they're doing things.
No, I don't. What I found curious, too, was Maricopa County apparently has an MOU with Tono right in the middle of Gila County.
Say that again?
Maricopa County Sheriff's Department has an MOU with Tono. They were the guys that were shutting down the gates on the Salt River Lakes chains, not Gila County. I called and talked to Lieutenant Johnson going, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Wasn't us. We didn't do it."
So as Maricopa County went into Gila County,
they
locked
have,
the gates
they have
for the
either
Tono.
an MOA, memorandum of agreement, I believe,
Okay.
with Tono to do their dirty work.
Do we need to talk to Joe?
I got his own phone number. You want to call him?
No, don't go there.
Yeah, I don't get it. This is for you, Tom.
Yes, it is.
But the plane brought me farther. I'm surrounded by.
All right, we're back visiting with AIS coordinator Tom McMahon from the Arizona Game and Fish Department. Scott Corpin's in here, and are you going to talk about trapping today?
If you want me to, I sure can. How you been, Patrick?
By the way, wolf season is officially now open in every state that has them now, since there are no federal employees to make sure that they're taken care of.
Anybody wants to respond to that comment? That's John Colazar. His number 602.
Oh, yeah.
Don't look at me.
I'm done.
No.
Sandy Barr's going to be calling you.
Oh, she loves me.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Along with the Republic editorial staff.
You need to belong to this Southwest Fur Harvesters. They have one meeting a year, and it's out in the middle of the woods. It was awesome.
There's a lot to be said for
we
that.
really don't accomplish anything at our meeting. So,
But you had fun. There was good stuff to eat.
we had a great time. We had more.
Don came back saying, "I'm going to join them. Screw you guys."
Yeah,
Yeah,
did.
dude.
He did. He's one of us now.
I am. But my traps are illegal. They're footholds.
Oh yeah, all of mine were.
You can still use the footholds. We just need to do some modification to them.
Like file the teeth off?
Gentle grip.
Yeah, we can.
Nice.
Let's just start by grinding the teeth off. Yeah.
I'm really surprised. Have you been to one of their rendezvous?
No.
I'll tell you, I was stunned. I learned a lot. I came up to pass out some big game forever cards, and sheep went through, and
Technical difficulties have
yeah,
now
I
been
think
solved.
that was probably my computer screen leaning on this little button that Jennifer has told me.
Welcome back to the world, gentlemen.
It says do not push that.
Yeah, don't push that button.
Now, that was really our best turnout we've ever had. I think we counted 106 people at one time.
Wow.
Nice.
And we had Alan Zufalt from Game and Fish, Condor coordinator.
He did a good job.
He talked to us about the
Chelation therapy for the condors. Did
Well,
he tell you that?
Well,
story
basically,
again?
it is the advantages of non-lead ammunition over lead ammunition.
And we're going to have that. Thank you to the left coast. That's coming.
No, it's not.
He gave me a box of 22 ammunition that's tin, and I've been coon hunting and shooting coons with them. Works really good.
Tin instead of copper this time?
Yeah, this is tin, and it's working better than lead on the coons.
Tell you
I'm
what.
sad to say it's killing them coming out of the tree.
My deer tag that I had up in 13B about 5-6 years ago, I used copper bullets, and I think they're going to open up mining now with as much as I deposited into the soil.
And what was your malfunction?
Weapon I was not familiar with.
Okay.
I shot it one time for 20 minutes out at
Yeah,
Usury.
that whole lead band thing is. Have you been keeping an eye on that with the loons back in Minnesota?
Nope.
Wisconsin.
I mean,
it keeps going to court, keeps getting kicked out, and they keep bringing it back and bringing it back and bringing it back, and it's like, in talking with Ronnie Parker and some of the other people in the fishing industry, they're thinking within the next 3 years we're probably going to have a lead ban on terminal tackle. Spinnerbaits, all your sinkers, this and that. I mean, it's just
all those lead head jigs are gone.
Well, they're the antis, those guys that don't want us in the woods or on the water. Yeah.
By the way, the California legislature did pass a bill that they're expecting the governor to sign where they are outlawing lead ammo. Totally.
Yeah, I know it's headed this way. I don't know where the firearms bill went, but if you read that came out the week before last, I don't own anything that's legal.
Not in California. Nobody does.
No.
Nobody does. I know that I haven't heard. I know the Bobcat Protection Act that was going through the legislature there. I know it got as far as the governor. I haven't heard if it got signed or not. But that's going to ban trapping around national monuments, parks.
Yeah, that did get passed.
Parks. Did it get signed?
I thought it did.
Okay. So those guys put up a heck of a fight, starting out this spring where they wanted to ban all bobcat trapping and ended up they can still trap bobcats, but now they've got some kind of buffer zone around their national monuments and parks.
They take them to Sierra Club headquarters in Sacramento and turn them loose.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
Ain't saying, just saying. I agree.
Yeah, relocate.
Trappers are always under
duress.
Yeah, we're under fire all the time. Minnesota, it's always about the links. Same in Maine.
You talk to these guys down at Berkeley South and Tucson, and who do they call when they have a bobcat?
Well, I know.
mean, they've got just scads of bobcats and predators running.
But they don't realize if you take that bobcat and you catch it out of your neighborhood, you might as well kill it because you cannot transplant it anywhere because they're so territorial. You're going to be putting them in another bobcat's area.
I get it.
One of them is not going to make it. So things like that they don't understand.
So from your perspective, what's the answer? Do we need to bring back reverse the trapping moratorium in 1994?
Oh, we should in Arizona.
I would love to see it just basically thin out your coyotes. You can't catch coyotes in a cage. They're great for fox, they're great for bobcat, but you got your coyotes. I know they hurt the deer herd every year.
Coyotes will take down deer more than
Absolutely.
any animal out there.
Anderson Mesa back.
And pronghorn.
Yeah, Anderson Mesa, I don't remember what year it was, back in the 60s. There was a game and fish to do with the Forest Service, and you remember that?
Oh, I'm not that old.
He just looks it, that's all.
Okay.
You got to realize, too, the equipment we use anymore is so much more humane than it was 10, 15 years ago. The offset jaws, we've got to have at least 2 swivels for every 12 inches of chain on the trap. We've got shock springs. It's like when they pull, it's like a big shock absorber. 99% of the animals I catch, I could let out and they'd be just fine. The coyotes, fox, bobcats, catch people's dogs, let them out. Yeah, they're running off. They're fine. Javelina, catch them, let them out. They were running off.
Now that's been there, done that. Try to get a javelina out of
That's
the trap.
a dance I don't want to participate in.
Yeah, after your first 5 or 6 are a little rough, but I get about 20 or more a year, so it's not too bad getting them out anymore.
How do you do that? Just out of curiosity.
Well, you just walk up to them. All my footholds, I don't get a chain over 12 inches.
Okay.
That way, they
can
still cover a lot of ground with 12 inches, but you just walk in with your restraining pole, and you get that loop over his head, and just choke him down just a little bit till he passes out real quick, and you got about 10 seconds to get that trap off his foot and step back, and they get up and walk off. They're all happy.
That 10 seconds.
Yeah,
that 10 seconds is the shortest 10 seconds I've ever seen.
It is. It goes pretty quick, but hey, that's the rules. So let the pigs out.
Interesting.
Who let the pigs out, right?
Who let the pigs out? And the country I trap, I saw the wildlife manager doing their aerial survey on the 3rd of January. We're waving each other. He's in a helicopter, and I'm on a quad, and we're waving. He stopped into camp a couple days later, and I was talking to him. Said he saw 300 pigs on that ranch I was on.
Wow.
And I believe it. I've been catching them every day.
All righty, having said that, we're going to step down. Thanks some of our sponsors. I'm Don McDowell here with...
Oh, that'd be me. You're pointing at me, Tom McMahon.
Yeah.
Game and Fish.
Scott.
John Colazar.
From?
Slow on the uptake.
Okay.
Give me all.
Bank finally came through, and I'm holding the keys to a brand new Chevrolet. Have you been outside?
All righty, we're back. You know,
Sure is a nice night.
I was just looking through some emails during the break, and apparently there's a Wisconsin governor that basically has thumbed his nose at federal shutdowns on some of the federally funded national parks that they have.
Really?
Not doing it. Pretty interesting. And then as you go through the article, it says, meanwhile, back in Arizona, Senators John McCain and Jeff Flake can't understand why federal authorities have refused Arizona's Governor Brewer offer to use state money to keep the Grand Canyon Park open.
Because they want to make a statement.
You know, we as a state have offered. The department's really gone out on a limb, offering up the LEs and everybody else that works there, to go out and keep this stuff open. Wouldn't be fair to ask you where you thought it was going, but...
What do you mean? Where
well, in the next couple of weeks, because I don't see the public pressure doing anything but heightening, and I believe that's probably the motive, and I'm going to not necessarily pick on Tonto National Forest. I'll use them as an example. Certain people within that organization said, yes, we want the public outcry so that we can get our budget passed.
That's what
we all agreed with that.
You guys, yeah, and so that is what it is. I don't know how to comment on it because I
don't expect you to comment. No.
I sit back and see the same things, and I'm like,
yeah.
what?
You're in control, gracious. Tom. You are part of the bureaucracy.
I know.
Make it happen now.
I wish I could, but when you get down to remember, I may be 6'5", but I'm a really little guy in the whole scheme of things with the government, for Pete's sakes.
That's a big machine up there.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I
similar
really,
to the Titanic.
I really see some good things coming out of that. Any grumblings from the hunting community about, they're fairly more unified than the fishing industry.
Game and Fish did a good job of pointing out that there's, maybe in some of the wilderness areas you might have some issues with roads, etc. But for the most part, they can't barb wire off the Tonto. They can't barb wire off the Apache Sickaries, the Coconino, or any of those. So we're not worried.
Well, they're
and as I said,
certainly
wolf
trying to
season's
shut them
open now.
down with the TMR, but that's an ongoing issue.
Let's put it this way, Don. I've hunted in the Apache Sickaries for probably the last 20-some years. And in all that time, I have encountered one LE. One. And you know what he got me for?
From the forest.
From the forest. Oh, yeah. I mean, I run into Game and Fish guys all the time.
Yeah.
But LE from the Fish and Wildlife or the National Forest structure ran into one guy one time. He had a trainee with him, and he stopped me for raising too much dust on a dirt road.
Excuse me?
Swear to God. Yep. And it was
Show me the ticket. Let's go see the judge.
It was after we had done a project, fence removal up at Big Lake, and I had to come back, and we were coming back on one of the roads leading outside of Big Lake, and I saw a truck coming the other way, and he put his flashers on. I thought, ooh, maybe something good's going to happen out of this world today. I can't believe it. I've seen law enforcement from the Apache Sickaries. And he said, you were raising dust? I go, you got to be kidding me. You're the first guy I've seen in 20 years, and you're going to stop me for raising dust? Yeah. We got a lot of dust out here. And I'm going, okay, why aren't you somewhere watching poachers? Instead, you're driving around with a trainee telling me that I raised dust? You got to be kidding.
Where was their water truck? It's their forest. I'm just saying.
You ain't saying just, I agree totally. It just struck me as one of the dumbest things I'd ever been stopped for in my entire life.
Well, these guys, Southwest Fur Harvesters, had a excellent camp setup. I mean, it was clean. Everybody was organized. The trucks were all parked the same way. The trailers were organized. And what happened to the elk hunter?
Well, there was an elk the archery elk hunt was going on too, and there was a couple elk hunters that had been there about a week before we started to set up. And Coconino Forest law enforcement came in there and measured, and the guy was 8 feet too far, so they made him move his whole camp 8 feet, from what I understand.
The logic there is perfect for a federal government employee.
I'd have been seeing the judge. Sorry.
Most years we were farther back in there because those guys got there first and were camped for their elk hunt. That's usually where we have the rendezvous.
Was it beyond his 30 feet?
The 300 feet.
The 300.
Oh, it's 300
okay.
feet?
Yeah, we paced it off with a GPS last year, and it was like 320 feet. It was like 120 yards, something like that. We were illegal last year. But since they were there, we were legal. But no, it looked really nice. We had set up. We had a lot of little booths and stands set up. It looked like we really knew what we were doing. I had a great time.
I did too.
Saw a lot of people I haven't seen in years, and a lot of good information passed out.
I learned a lot. You sit there and you talk about, you pick up this knife. You go, cool. What's this? A pizza knife? It's a fleshing knife. Okay.
Take it back.
I thought they had some pretty cool ironing boards about this wide. No.
Those are stretchers. I knew that.
Did you sit there and smell all the stuff that was in the little jars? If you got downwind, when Mercer Lawing was giving his demonstration, he opened up that skunk essence, and we were all downwind. We caught a good whiff of that, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, I was there.
That cleaned you right out,
Make
didn't
you burn
it?
your eye. Well, that's the thing. You listen to Eddie about masking human scent.
Oh, skunk scent will do that.
No, he pulls out a bottle of liquid smoke. All over himself. Liquid smoke.
Yeah, and they use some kind of mist. They'll mix.
Why?
They mix 2 or 3 different urines, like bobcat, coyote, skunk essence. They mix it and shake it together.
And it explodes.
No, they spray that on them because it's something a coyote has never smelt before. And that's sort of...
Let's back up. Spray it on what?
Yeah.
Their clothes.
That's what I thought.
That's when you're hardcore.
You don't need it on your clothes. You just need it from your waist down at best, and usually it's just the soles of your feet. Put it on that and gone forever.
I usually just get a little bit when I'm trapping and touch my nose or something, itch my nose, and I'm smelling it all day long.
Yeah.
So I don't know how those guys put up with it, all that.
You know the beauty of that, though, is...
I'm glad I'm a fish biologist.
Goodness
gracious.
Wait till
I
you guys,
love the smell of crawdad.
Yeah, wait till you guys come up and visit me this winter. You'll know I stink. I stink the whole winter.
You know,
but the wife's at home, so
hey, here's the good thing. Here's the good thing. After one day of wearing skunk scent on my boots, one of my first archery elk hunts way back in the previous millennium, you don't notice the skunk smell after a day.
No.
It's gone. I mean, it's part of you. It's ingrained. Until you walk and confront somebody else who's human, and they look at you weird, then you know.
Yeah, I was bringing a mountain lion in out of Dripping Springs, and then we started to put the mountain lion up on the horse. The horse started having a rodeo, and Sam went over and got a handful of blood, wiped it on that horse's nose. And I'm going the other way. I go, this is going to get ugly. He settled right down. We put the cat up there, and away we went.
Yep.
I love crawdads, man.
Apparently.
Water dogs.
I would much rather have
little garlic
bull urine all over me than I would have fish guts.
We have a better world.
You guys are weird.
Well, if you walk in and smell like garlic in a crawdad,
well, that
yum.
Okay. Yeah, but I've had
Pompadour's up off of I-17.
2 days after bad fish smell, I'll take a bull and rut any day over fish smell.
Good point.
All right. Tom, we've got a lot of stuff to cover on the AIS. We'll get started for a couple of minutes, and then fortunately this week for roll call for October the 6th, we've lost one soldier in action in downtown Afghanistan. We'll talk a little bit about that, but with the AIS issues, you've done a great job educating the public, and we've got LMBV and this and that. How long is the invasive species list? How many things do we have on the list?
We have upwards of 10 now, including pathogens, which you mentioned, largemouth bass virus, and certainly whirling disease, which kind of make me a little hinky because when you talk about an aquatic invasive species, there's something that maybe people can see, like a quagga mussel or even rock snot.
Nice.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah.
What is rock snot?
Oh,
you step in it, you're going to find out.
Rock snot is actually, it's called Didymo.
Either name, go ahead.
I know.
Define, please.
Rock snot, because actually it looks like that. It is a diatom that forms mats.
Okay, now that's 3 words.
There goes JK.
They're really teeny, but what they do is they create these massive beds that they actually grow on, and it just covers the bottom of a lake or
Who makes
stream.
these?
Well, God.
Rock snot?
Yes, and it's
Dear God,
and it looks like that.
I didn't think that was in the Bible, was it?
I have never seen rock
I guarantee
snot. Was that on the ark too?
You cannot
missed that
step
part.
on a rock covered with rock snot and keep your balance. You're going down.
Isn't that called slime?
Pretty much.
That there you go. If that helps you, then
I really thank you a lot for this.
yes, I know. And luckily, we really don't have we haven't seen any evidence of it in a few years. But it really came to a head a few years back. Lake Havasu City was having some issues with it, and they called on it, and it looks like dirty toilet paper. So yeah,
Nice.
You can't ruin a George Strait song by doing
yeah.
that.
I'm sorry.
All righty.
Thank you, Jen.
When we come back, more on...
Rock snot.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Don McDowell, and you are...
George Strait.
Confused.
Scott Corporation.
We'll be right back.
It's over from her one more time.
All righty, we're back here. Let's just get this over with. You know, conservationist, meteor. Let's just put the grizzly. We've got wolves.
Wolves.
Woofs.
We'll put the grizzly bears back in Flagstaff like they want to. We'll throw snakeheads in the lakes and the rivers.
An Asian carp.
And Asian carp. A few
Shovel-headed
pythons.
garter snake.
You know, they'll take care of the antis because they will not go into the woods.
Oh, I know
They won't
that.
go in the water. I'm just saying.
I think that's a great idea. Seriously, bring back the grizz. Let's see who goes camping up at Woods Canyon then.
Nice. Okay, besides the slime, let's say. What else? You got the snakeheads on. Thank you for that. You know, I'm really concerned about
All of them, by the way.
all of them. Yeah.
all the species.
Yeah, these guys, the Asian market, sneaking those things in here. There was a big bust in California. What was that? 2 years ago.
Yes.
$200, almost a $300,000 fine for bringing live snakeheads in.
Define snakeheads.
A
for me,
snakehead
please.
is a fish that will hunt you back.
Yeah, it's just a big old nasty fish.
Yeah,
that
it's
gets
like
to
a-
a pretty good size, and really all it is, it's like they explained to Jaws. All it does is, eat other things and create other snakeheads. I mean, they reproduce like crazy.
Kind
Yeah.
of like horses and wolves.
Yeah.
And
It's,
it just really can hurt your sport fishing because it'll eat everything. I mean, and they're just all teeth, and they make lots of little ones. And they've had some problems back east. We haven't seen them in our waters yet, as it were, but that's why it's on the invasive species list. And like Don
Well, they've
said,
got them in California.
Yeah.
They're loose in California.
What was somebody bringing them in for?
Well,
food.
The Asians,
Could be.
they eat them, and they're quite tasty. But they have a belief that it has medicinal purposes. You have to have it live and make soup out of it. And the way it got started in Maryland, and correct me if I'm wrong, the guy went down and his wife was sick. Went down and bought 2 snakehead. And before he could whack them and make soup, she got all better, so he went down to the park. I don't remember the name of that pond, do you?
No, I don't. I know where you're going.
Yeah, it was like on Golden Pond, so he turns these things loose.
And therein begins the nature of our invasive species.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's a great point because not that these are on the invasive species list or anything of that sort, but we've all heard of piranha and or pacu. Well,
I know piranha, but I dated a pacu.
But did you? There you go. That's bad. But they get in because people end up stocking. They don't want to kill the thing, so they end up putting in their local pond here because we've heard about that a few times. So. That's how we get invasive species. We move them, whatever that may be, whatever the species that may be.
That's strange.
Yes, yeah. What's the strange?
I
the
prefer
strange
to do
world.
it the other way, where the Asian market, accepts readily all of our antler sheds because they use them grinding up for perceived sexual performance.
It's called an aphrodisiac, John.
I know the term.
Perceived sexual what?
Performance.
Rock's not the aphrodisiac. Okay,
Nice. You know,
good feeding.
I wonder if the quagga mussel shell would have any aphrodisiac qualities.
Well, I've always said if we could do something with quagga mussel, like either they're tasty or that we can make a biofuel out of them or something, but it's just not the case.
The only thing I've found, and it's not economical feasible, if you're able to scoop them up, strain them, clean them, and crush them, they will do the same thing as diatomaceous earth.
Nice.
Pool filters.
Yeah. And then Mark Townsend had some idea of making some kind of a pate out of them for pizza.
He would.
He would. Yeah, but so it's, with those guys, and the bad part about it, John, once you get them, you got them.
Well, that's the key. Is
like
number one, they're so
shad.
small. By the time they're visible, they've destroyed something.
Too late.
Yeah, it's way too late.
Yeah, we've certainly found that out up in Meade because it's one. We've certainly heard about zebra mussels for many years, and they're in the Great Lakes, and the world's coming to an end, and it is bad stuff. We thought we had everything covered out here in the West because the researchers were telling us, well, our waters are too warm, and they not enough calcium, all this kind of fun stuff. Exactly. Well, we're always wrong. But then all of a sudden in 2007, some divers down in Meade, they pull up a rock and they go, "What are these?"
Clams.
Yes. We wish we had said that, and they go, "Oh, that's not good. Let me take a look at that." And then all of a sudden we found them in Mojave, in Havasu, in Pleasant. So they got in about 2004, 2005. No, it was us, humans, somehow, probably a boat, but there they are, and we're chock full of them. There's billions of them out there.
We were talking the other day about the transformation the Great Lakes have. The zebras, they started with the zebras. Now they have the quagga mussels, and the quagga mussels, and you're the expert, correct me if I'm wrong, the quagga mussels are dogpiling on top of the zebras.
Kind of like
smothering them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So.
Consuming them.
Well, it's not that they consume them. It's just they attach on them, and then so many attach on, say, a zebra mussel, or actually their own mom and dad is a quagga mussel, and then that parent can't open up, and then he ends up dead. But that's the thing about the mussels that we were so concerned about. It's not the soft body part. You can kill these things, and red ear sunfish eat them. It's the shells. That's what clogs us up, and they're just not conducive to human nature, and getting them in your boats.
Okay,
and our water infrastructure.
Speaking of that, I heard a wonderful fairy tale, and it went like this. It said, as of yesterday, they are citing people who haven't pulled their plugs on their boats out at Lake Pleasant. True or false?
I would say it's false right now.
No!
Because, but it is part of the law that you need to pull, and it's not just about mussels. It's just about invasive species, and unfortunately Pleasant has them just like Havasu does, and Meade and Mojave, and actually Powell does now too.
Well, again, excuse me, but we've identified all these things that are on the list. Our Salt River Lake chains have the LMVV. They're infected water. So, in my mind, as I read that rule, that's all the lakes. Clean, drain, and dry.
Yeah.
You don't? Bam.
Yes. No, and you bring up a good point. I was going to eventually get to that.
Okay, sorry.
But no, you're right, because the pull your plug law and rule that is in the books, you need to pull your plug if you're coming off an AIS affected lake, an aquatic invasive species lake affected lake. Well, guess what? Unfortunately, we keep adding to the list, and it does include Bartlett and Saguaro and Roosevelt and certainly Pleasant. The point is, coming off a lake, you need to pull your plug, and all that is part of the clean, drain, and dry message to drain your boat. And it's.
I don't know why you would want to leave water in your boat anyway.
Exactly. Well, and the public. We've gotten some comments back that, oh my goodness, well, I just don't pull. I pull the plug at home. Okay. Well, then what's the big deal about pulling it when you just come off?
You're out of your rig anyhow.
And then they'll say, well, I keep it in because I would forget to put it back.
Well, here's the deal, and here you have done how long have you been educating these guys? 5 years now?
At least, yes.
5 years. You can't live in the 21st century in this state and not have heard about clean, drain, and dry.
Muscle.
There's highway billboards. There's 47 signs up at Lake Pleasant. You get notification in your watercraft registration renewal, and to tell.
All you have to do is call the Arizona Game and Fish Department when you are placed on the forever hold. you will hear that. Don't move a muscle ad campaign. And I don't care who you are. If you've called Game and Fish, you've heard that.
All righty. We'll be back on this subject after the top of the hour. Little update. We believe that Seth Wakeling has made his way from Germany back to the U.S. of A., and Mom and Dad have been back to visit with him. Stepped on an IED a couple of weeks ago and lost his left foot, but hopefully he'll have a full recovery here over the next few months. Roll call for October 6th. Army Staff Sergeant Thomas A. Bayshore Jr. died September 26, 2013, serving during Operation Enduring Freedom. 31 years old of Milton, Pennsylvania. Staff Sergeant was assigned to the 1st Battalion of 506th Infantry Regiment of the 4th Brigade Combat Team of the 101st Airborne Division out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Died September 26 in Patia province, Afghanistan, of wounds caused by small arms fire. One soldier's bad enough. That's one too many for this week, and certainly our hearts and prayers go out to all these guys that are in theater. We're going to be trying to find a little bit more information on the WIAs and give them a shout out too, and our prayer as well. I'm Don McDowell. We'll be right back.
Feels kind of like church in here tonight. It don't matter where we touch down.
A show for the serious fisherman, as well as the novice looking for tips from the pros. Shake, Rattle, and Troll is brought to you by Bill Luke Dodge Chrysler Jeep. Now, here's your host, saltwater fisherman and tournament pro, Don McDowell.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm Don McDowell. Welcome to the second hour of Shake, Rattle, Troll in the house. With us, as always, J.K. lending his voice of reason and moderation, and thank you for that today.
You're welcome.
And Scott Corcoran, Vice President of Southwest Fur Harvesters, with an E, not an O, and special guest today, Tom McMahon, AZGFD, Aquatic and Basic Species Coordinator.
Aloha.
that fits.
Wow.
Okay, I have a question for you, Tom.
Yes. All right.
About 6 years ago, I was very heavily involved at the state legislature with the OHV issue, which had become at that point epidemic because people were just wantonly destroying habitat, and OHVs were a misnomer because, I mean, they were just doing everything they wanted to in the national forest, and knowing the feds, it would take forever. So, with that, we carried to the state legislature the option for an OHV tag. And with that OHV tag, you paid $25. And basically it paid for 7 what we called the OHV Rangers. And when that came into being, it was signed into law in 2008, I believe. Within 1 year, 7 or 8, one of the two. After the first year was what they called the education stage, in which they stopped people and said, just so you know, as of the 1st of January, you are now illegal. You need to go do this, do that, and do that. Second year, they started hammering people with citations. Now, you and I you've done a great job of "Don't move a muscle" as a tagline.
Thank you.
Which I absolutely adore. My question is, where in the world has enforcement been in the last 4 years? Because there is none. I mean, people hear it, they see it, but there's no. I'm not a smart man, but if I'm walking down the street and I get hit by a car because I've stepped off, or somebody says, by the way, here's your fine, you have to pay $250 because you went through Star Valley and they bleeped you as you were going through, not once but twice, now it's $500.
Happened to you, didn't it?
I guarantee you.
I only did it once.
I know. I've seen people do it twice, and now you want to talk a real bad day.
Duh.
Yeah. But I guarantee you, every time I go through Star Valley, I look at that hammer and I go, 45, locked and loaded. I'm not
44.
going to.
I'm not taking a chance.
Will the Prius do 45?
Oh, wow.
All I have to do is take away the food.
You follow that Prius down the hill out of Payson.
By the way, all I do is I
possible.
don't feed the gerbils a lot of money, and then they stop running as fast, and that's all I have to worry about. Wow. But seriously, Tom, if you've got people being cited, I guarantee you they're going to pop that drain plug every single time. And I can't figure out why there hasn't been any enforcement.
We're working on it.
Yeah, and actually, no, it's a great question, because actually you had asked that earlier, and we kind of got on a tangent, because I think you asked, like, right now. we're going to see that. We're going to see folks that are going to talk to some officers if maybe their plug isn't pulled or maybe they haven't properly decontaminated their boats. Because the whole basis of the Aquatic Invasive Species Program when it was first put into law was really the education of the public and the information. We've done that with the Don't Move a Muscle. That's great. And I appreciate all you said about that because I think we've done a really good job. Well, gosh, we got all kinds of information out there because it's the boater's responsibility to, clean, drain, and dry their boats. Part of that being, pull the plug. And you're right. Where's that aspect been? The one thing you did bring up there's an OHV sticker. Mm-hmm. We don't have that in the AIS program. Some other states have taken that tack, that basic boaters.
We're pushing for it.
Well, and that might be nice, but,
Trip down to the ledge is all it takes.
I understand. And we as a department, we try not to just, get money from folks for stickers because, like I said, some other states have gone down that road. And literally the AIS stickers for the AIS program. Well, that's all nice, but what does that mean? What we've done in Arizona is actually we use money from watercraft registration for the AIS program, and that's appropriated. And we've been fairly successful at getting appropriations to do the information education part of it all. So now we've got to finish the deal, meaning that we do need to get out there, and we have been out there with our interns. That work in the AIS program.
Do they have badges?
No, and that's what I was going to say. That
do you carry a badge and a gun?
No, I'm just tall and fat. So I'm a little more intimidating.
Tom comes
I would think wearing shirts like that, you need to be armed.
Well, I don't wear this out in the field, but I do appreciate it. It's a fashion statement. Tom,
so we had those folks.
Yeah, there you go. Well,
I thought we were in the set from Hawaii 5-0.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, actually, they and that's why I'm on the radio because I think you've told me I have a radio face. I really appreciate that.
Wouldn't say
everybody
that.
Seated at this table has a face made for radio.
Yeah. So that's kind of insulting, but
welcome to my home.
I can see you, Don, but the rest of us.
Thank you. All righty then.
At least you don't have a mullet.
I'm losing the track. we're losing, but we're trying to add that aspect. And what I was going to say was, we have our interns out there, our technicians, our specialists that are out there talking to the public, and most of the time, and we ask questions about, did you pull your plug and things of that sort, and we've gotten good answers, but we have some of the public that say, yeah, that's nice, give me that brochure, and I'm out of here. Now, if that same person is a badge and hands them that brochure, they're like, yes, got it, no problem, pull the plug, we're doing it, pulling the weeds off.
Yeah.
So we recognize that, and but you will see more law enforcement presence, I can't go into the details, but we're also going to be talking to the judges and other law enforcement agencies because no matter what, this is an Arizona law. It's not just a game and fish law. That even the county, say up at Pleasant, some of the county law enforcement, they're probably going to start into this also.
Maricopa County.
Yes,
nice.
that's in the discussions. The point is. We recognize that now we need to get into that phase. And,
I understand that, but what is the point of the discussion? I talked to John Ramsey. We fish with John. He's Lakes Patrol officer and actually builds a nice custom rod. Good guy. And I asked him, so what's your take on this? He goes, yeah, we need to do it, but the county attorney has interpreted over here, and I've read the rule. And it's clear.
It says leave the location. And
I don't know. Once the boat's out of water, that's
right.
Called leaving the location.
But that's what I mean. That we've talked round and round about that.
Really?
And the point is that I think we're going to start talking to more people.
Is this going to go? The other confusion or point of discussion was: is it civil or is it Class 2? Both of those languages are in 17-255. The Class 2 is in .03.
Yes, and
willfully.
From the discussions I've been in, we're not looking to hammer folks, but we're looking to remind them. When we say hammer, I guess I mean by the amount of fine.
And John made a point. I know who he was talking about Star Valley. That's a $285 infraction. If it were $25, I wouldn't even pick the gas pedal up.
Understand?
$285 fine, and they deliver right to your home. Hey, Don. Yeah, what's happening? You're served.
Been
What?
personalize this. And
Yeah, and that's the thing because, Tom, we've educated, and God love you. You guys have done a hell of a job on the education. It's time. They can't look you in the eye and say, well, gee, Tom, I never heard of that. Thanks for sharing that with me. Yeah, sign right here.
And that's the aspect that we're looking at. Exactly.
And you look at some of the other states, they went through Oregon and Washington. Washington especially unilaterally has zero tolerance with all of their law enforcement agencies, municipal, townships, DPS, or whatever they call them, the sheriffs. They're going to get you.
Yes, and I would agree, and that's what we're trying to base some of what we're trying to do also.
Do you have any time frames that you think we'll finally start seeing citation work being done?
Oh, I would say in the very near future.
That's like soon.
Yes.
Come on, talk to. I won't tell anybody.
You will, because actually, as we speak, this weekend we actually had we have some of our folks out there not only doing the education part as you come in. I wouldn't call it a wolf pack, but we have some of our officers that will probably be out at some of our local lakes talking to people.
You know what? They need to send 65 Jethros out there. One Jared McFarland will intimidate the crap out of anybody. You are going to do this, aren't you? Yes, sir.
And that's basically that's kind of the tack that we're looking at.
Yeah.
We got to have an officer out there and saying, plug, out, thank you.
You could show up with your shirt. That'll do it.
All righty.
That would scare people.
That, we're going to take a break and thank a lot of our sponsors.
Amen.
And I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand.
All righty, we're back. Kicking AIS around a little bit. So
No.
a lot. Okay.
Yay.
What's your take? One of the concerns that we have collectively, and that was brought up by Mrs. Lippincott, Andrew Gettle. Andy Gettle's a pretty good fisherman, spends a lot of time on the water. I believe Staff Sergeant over at the Arizona National Guard, works on longbows and Blackhawk. Good guy, really good guy. But, once the closure is lifted, a lot of boats are going to be pressuring Lake Pleasant because of the closures. And once the gates are lifted, we're going to have a lot of boats, those boats going back to the Mother Lake and some of the other Salt River Lake chains. Any plans to visit those folks upon entry?
Yes, exactly, and I'm glad you bring up that subject because we were concerned, and I know that concern was brought up to the commission, but in fact we've encouraged, if you go to our website, saying, okay, folks, not that we can't give you advice on when it's going to end or something, or if there's a barrier up at Bartlett, but you know what? There's good fishing over at Pleasant. There's good fishing over at Havasu. So if you can't fish, if you can't get your boat on there, go over to Pleasant. Unfortunately, those are AIS affected lakes. So what are we going to do? Well, actually, again, as we speak, this yesterday and today, we talked with the folks in Havasu and certainly at Pleasant, the Lake. Goodness gracious, the Lake Pleasant Regional Park. Talked right to the superintendent and said, "Listen, dude, you have a lot
on the county side."
Yes, David Jordan, great guy. He's very in support of all this, as much as we can do. And they have all our outreach stuff, and you guys have all seen the "Don't Move a Muscle" brochures. And oh my God, well, they've made a concerted effort. Everybody that comes into that lake this weekend, and I think that included Friday and next weekend, is going to get that brochure. They've tried to target it at different weekends that sometimes they would hand out the brochure. Now they're specifically, everybody coming in gets that brochure.
Are they going to stop them?
Well, when you come in the entrance station.
Leaving.
I'm getting to that.
Okay, go, Tom. Yeah!
Yeah, there we go.
Take the hackles off the back of that neck.
And on Saturday today, yesterday we did it. We actually had folks on the boat ramps. They've already got the brochure, so that's not the point. Coming out, we have our pull the plug card. It's just a card, but we have some of our specialists and other biologists talking to as many as we can anyway, at the 10-lane and 4-lane, at least as many as we can, talking to folks about pull that plug. Do you pull that plug? then backed up by an officer that is somewhere, maybe down the road, maybe at the boat ramp itself.
Sniper vision.
That will also be talking to folks. And I don't know if they're going to actually be writing any citations or warnings, but they will be taking in the law enforcement aspect. Point being, this weekend we've tried to address that, and we'll probably be doing it next weekend also, at least at Pleasant.
You know, I think they could see
It's
with
a step
binoculars to know if somebody has pulled a plug or not. And if they haven't pulled a plug, they take out their tires, with an AK.
Well, actually
Put another drain hole in it.
Yeah.
half of that we did, because again, with our interns, and again, I'm glad you brought up that subject. For the past 2 years, one of the things we've done in the program itself, and this is it's the soft sell, I understand, but we've actually asked a lot of questions of boaters. It was about some of it was about angling, what'd you catch, things of that sort, like we're doing an angler survey. But then we moved on to asking the question, and Don, you know this, we've asked the question, have you heard the Don't Move a Muscle message, and where'd you see it, and what'd you do about it? And specifically asking, did you pull your plug, right at the boat ramp there. And we had about 90% of the people, and I'm throwing some numbers out here, but at Havasu and Bartlett and Pleasant, oh yeah, sure, we pull our plug, not a problem. Then what we do is maybe that following night or maybe Sunday when people are leaving, we wouldn't be asking questions at the boat ramp, but we'd be sitting with binoculars at the boat ramp and watching as people are leaving, and we find out that
would be called a peeping Tom.
Pretty much, yeah. That we've been told that we found that
I've seen some of the ladies who are leaving Pleasant. I'd be watching the binoculars, and I bet you Game and Fish guys are having a ball doing it.
Go take that up to Cammie Silverwood.
Great, yeah, exactly. Great. Now I'm in. I get in trouble so often coming to the show. No, but
she had her chance.
Did they pull the plug? Who knows? I was looking at her. Did you see that, girl?
Well, I'm hoping that they didn't do that. We put some good data that shows that about 60% of the people are actually pulling their plugs. The point is that they're kind of lying to us. At the various lakes. I know. So that's been the impetus to say, okay, we need to kick into gear that next aspect of, okay, if we see somebody that hasn't pulled their plug, what are we going to do about it?
Shoot them.
And I don't think we can get to that aspect. We can tell them to sign hard. There's 4 copies, and that's what the next aspect is. So the point is that we gathered enough data, which I know that doesn't help in the big picture as far as if we're actually making people pull their plugs, but we were able to provide that data that said, okay, we see we have an issue that not everybody is pulling their plug, and they need to.
I guess the biggest hope is that you haven't locked the barn door after every single species is already gone.
Well, and that's a great point, because, invasive species, it was only 5-10 years ago we were calling them exotics or non-indigenous now they're invasive. Okay, now we have a name for them. Okay, that's wonderful. Invasive, what we've tried to do, and part of the definition is how it affects human beings, and certainly part of that aspect is the environmental aspect of it all. But that's why mussels, we've grabbed a hold of them, because goodness gracious, they're such a pain in the butt, because they certainly can affect your fishing. We see invasive mussels down the Great Lakes, and certainly clog up your own boat. But let's face it, CAP and SRP. I don't know about the rest of you sitting around here, but I get my water and electricity from agencies like that, and it can, and maybe at this point, clogging up our water works pretty darn good.
Well, we've got to be seeing that.
Irrigation. I had more shells than I'd ever believed possible in my backyard through the CAP.
You're infested.
Well, and that's the thing, and again, not vilifying CAP. They're not happy they have them either. But the point is, and actually, the one thing that's kind of hit us up, and I've been to a few of the places, golf courses, because they're kind of an end point.
Right.
Now, the golf courses, they really don't care if the mussels, say, got into some of their local, lakes and stuff. That it actually, and that's what we find out.
Cleans it for them.
Exactly. They've got they're clean. Oh, I can see down to the bottom. It's like the Mediterranean here. However, when they go to push the button to irrigate their grass, it doesn't
Irrigation's
work.
doesn't work.
That's then at that point they go, I have a problem.
Well, I know the Scottsdale Princess doesn't have that issue, because there was more slime, more goop, more anything.
Snot.
Oh my goodness!
Was that
got through?
Really?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Don't go back there. I love those catfish, though.
I'll tell you what, it took about 6 hours to decontaminate that boat.
Wow.
It did.
Yeah, and again, another good point. That's the thing. Folks say, well, I'll just knock them off here, and they get everywhere. And when they get into, say, your cooling system for your engine and stuff, you're not going to actually blow them out. But you use that, and that's why we have decontamination protocols we try and help folks with, is that hot water will kill them. but you still have the shells. The shells are in there somehow. And to get them out, that's tough. They're everywhere. The pressure can help, but sometimes they get into areas that the pressure might blow the shell off, but then it's over here now instead of it's still in the engine, it's still maybe in the cooling system or in your bilge or something of that sort. And yikes! That's what I mean. Muscles are just such a pain. And anytime you think you have the issue licked, too bad. One other thing folks have brought up is, well, red ear sunfish eat them. Yes, they do. They're muscivore. That's great. And all we found is, like in Havasu, we have really big, and we're getting state records that come out of Havasu, but we still have plenty of mussels. So
need more sunfish.
Yeah, but then again, the sunfish can't get everywhere, because they get their lips in there to eat everywhere because they're hiding under everywhere, all over the place.
Sure.
So there is that, and let's get to the fact that red ear sunfish, they're an invasive, but they're not a native. So, and actually,
that's another problem.
Exactly. So it's like you're putting something on top of something else to get, and it doesn't get rid of them. I guess is what my point is.
Exactly.
It would be nice, and they do eat them.
Well, we're seeing this, a similar issue with the dadgum gizzard shad.
Oh, exactly.
And
that may be on a list near you sometime soon. By the way.
Well, yeah.
So
yeah. I really raised the roof with Chief Kurt Young. I'm going, look, you got to do something. He goes, all right, what? He says, I'm going to make you chief for a day. Okay. What are you going to do to get him out of Roosevelt? I said, wow, that's a really big lake.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Not an answer.
Because I think you brought it up earlier that that once you got him, you got him. When you have mussels, we're not going to get rid of them. Well, okay, if we drain the lake and it's drained for 2 or 3 or 4 years, great. Okay, we'll get rid of them. We'll still have the shells, though.
Still coming in, though. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
We're going to listen to Craig Russell and take a break. Come back in the bottom of the hour with the Rim Country Fishing Report.
Oh, I wished I could have been.
All righty, we're back. Time for our Rim Country Fishing Report from James Guggenhauer. James, are you there, sir?
Hey, good morning, Don. How you doing this morning?
Yeah, we're doing great. What happened? Were the Sun Devils actually beaten up on the Irish?
That was a pretty tough game last night. They definitely had chances to win. They just couldn't pull it off.
They got physically manhandled by that Irish team. Granted, the score.
I'm just saying.
I understand that, but they had an opportunity to pull out a win where they never should have even been in the game.
Yeah, it was one of those frustrating games to watch for sure.
No doubt, James. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what you get when you mess with a Mick or a Mac. All righty. Having said that, let's. We got a couple of them here. Yeah,
exactly.
Hoorah!
But go Devils.
Yeah, go Devils. You gotta love them. Well, maybe they need a kicker, Jim.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I know you're on the road. Thanks for engaging on your report. What have you got for us this week?
Yeah, we want to do. I'm sure you've been talking about the closure of the ramps up there at Roosevelt.
Yeah, we put a bid in on Tonto Forest, signed your name, and results will be available on Tuesday.
Yeah, your bid came in at $6.8 billion.
Okay, that sounds like a deal. We can definitely raise some money.
We can do that.
But, the marina ramp, the old marina ramp, is still available. There's a fee to use that ramp because it's privately owned. But we're encouraging everyone to go ahead and use that. You can still fish on Roosevelt. And fishing is actually good. The reports, fish continue to move into that fall pattern. We see them moving back into the shallows a little bit more. And the good news is, or at least the fun news, is the topwater baits like buzz baits and Zora spooks and even frogs are working good again. We always enjoy that bite in the spring, and it's nice that we get it in the fall here, too. So a lot of topwater action right now. I would try to get to the lake at first light and fish that until 10, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's good fun. The frog color is the white with the green. Has been working the best color, and a spro frog is the name that most of the locals throw down there. Now, of course, a drop shot and a jig, they will always work good off those main lake points. They're still in 15 to 25 feet of water, and lots of good action. It's picking up every week, it seems like now. Along with the crappie bite, still good reports of crappie. We're back to hearing numbers in close to 20 that are being caught each day. This time of year, the crappies start to school up a little bit more, and that'll continue for the next month or so, and get bigger and bigger schools, but you always have to find them in the brush. So look for those in like 25 to 35 feet of water, fishing vertically in the brush. That's where the crappie will be.
Okay, what about the rim lakes?
Well, the stocking of the rim lakes has ended, so Arizona Game and Fish has stopped. They always do this time of year, so that's all normal with the trout. And but there's still really good fishing up there. It's not too cold to get up there and still enjoy it. And the best part is you'll have the lake or the stream pretty much to yourself.
Is Willow Springs open? I know.
No, it's not.
We had some discussion of Woods Canyon.
Woods Canyon and Willow are both shut, right, James?
No, Woods Canyon's open. That's a private.
I saw an article that said they were closed there.
Really?
Yeah, that campground.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the campground, but not the store and the ramp.
Right. I think it's mixed. I've heard reports similar to what both of you are saying. So my suggestion would be if you're going to go fish one of those, you want to call them and just get the story for each lake or stream that you're going to go. And if you don't want to drive all that far, this week we're going to start the urban trout stocking in urban lakes. So Payson Lake down there at Green Valley is getting its first stocking this week of trout. So everyone can enjoy that, and they'll be doing that for most of the winter up here in Payson. So good. Now, you do need a special license for that, and there's a different set of rules. So make sure that you read the pamphlet whenever you get your license so you understand that fully.
Okay, good point. Anything else to add?
No, we're doing good. We are almost to Amarillo, Texas. We'll be back in Payson tomorrow, and I'll give you a call, Don, when I hit the door up there.
All right,
Amarillo
James,
by morning.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, just be safe out there and keep it between the lines.
Okay.
All righty, James Guggenauer on his way back to Payson from Dallas. Nice. That's what happens when you pick on the Irish.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's no drinking and fighting in my family, but hey.
Yeah. Right now, at this particular second.
Excuse
Oh,
me?
yeah,
No fighting in my family?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, it's all good. All right, where'd we leave off on the AIS stuff? Scott was talking about crawdads. We had the Australian crawdad pop up on the list. Any news on those guys?
Well, no, we haven't seen any more. That popped up. Actually, we have Rusty and Red Claw. I think that's the one you're referring to. Red Claw
John,
crayfish.
just so you know, they're about as big as a California rock lobster.
They are. That's the thing, because we don't have any evidence of those being in any of our Arizona waters. The crayfish that you see is basically the northern crayfish, which again, that's not native anyway. But for God's sakes, they're everywhere.
I know. Rory Akins has got some pretty good recipes for cooking them.
Oh,
I absolutely love cooking
yeah.
crayfish. And
Exactly.
you know what? I think every kid who I've ever taken out to a lake, within about the first half hour, they get bored with the line and the casting and all this and watching their bobber that's bobbing and nothing's taking. But you give them a hot dog on a stick with a little bit of line on it and a hook, and they're caught. They'll
Absolutely.
fall all over themselves trying to get those crayfish out of there.
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the things that we have various educational workshops that we put in there, crayfish workshops, because they're so easy to catch. If you get to a place, like I said, anytime you have water body, you're going to have crayfish, most likely bullfrogs and sea monkeys. I mean, it's very easy.
Whoa. I understand crayfish. I understand
those little brine shrimp guys. You know, the point is that anywhere there's water, you're going to have crayfish.
They're the ones that make the rock snot.
no.
See, now he's confused. You're looking at my shirt too much.
I will do whatever.
Yeah.
But with the crayfish, they're everywhere. So you're probably, to be honest, we're probably never going to see actual crayfish, northern crayfish on the aquatic invasive species list.
How many species of crayfish do we have?
Just the northern crayfish.
That's the only one that we see in all our waterways.
Pretty much so.
Good.
Yes.
Same guy?
Yes. Now, someone will make a liar out of me and say, look, here's a rusty crayfish that I just found. Because rusty crayfish and a red claw crayfish and any other kind of crayfish, they're brought in for food and or decoration. Because the red claw and rusty crayfish, I guess they're pretty to look at. And so there is an aquarium trade for that. Hopefully not in Arizona, but that's the reason that
somebody just was listening on the radio going, "Wow, I need to get one from my aquarium if they're pretty to look at."
Unfortunately, you can go to the internet and go, look at, there they are, and I can order them and from Oklahoma or something, and then obviously it's illegal to get them in Arizona, but they don't tell you that. So the crayfish, they're just a problem because they eat everything.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. But I guess one point and part of the conversation was that we're not going to see the northern crayfish on the AIS because they're everywhere. We wouldn't effectuate anything by putting them on the list.
No.
We'd have them a big deal. At least we're trying to do something with mussels and other things we have on the list. But so the northern crayfish, we got plenty of them. However, feel free to catch them and eat them.
Yeah,
Okay, got a question for you. And since you're so familiar with them, I typically see them around shorelines all the time. Are they in deep water as well?
Mm-hmm. They'll get in deeper water. Absolutely. They're just going for food. So in fact, they'll eat their brother. So anywhere they can find food, and temperatures. That you've been to maybe even cattle tanks for gosh sakes.
Absolutely.
And there they are, and the water temperature and water quality is horrible. And there's a crayfish. So yes, they'll be everywhere. And that's the unfortunate thing. They're everywhere. So if you catch them, great.
I love my brother Phil. He tasted great.
Exactly. They if they run out of fish and other things to eat, and hot dogs that are people are giving them.
Oh yeah.
They'll take Bob next door.
Boom.
Exactly. Cheese dogs. I kind of like using the cheese dogs.
Nice. Scott, back to you. How many members making up Southwest Fur Harvesters these days?
Well, I think we've got between 50 to 60, I believe. Really, I haven't got a new count yet because most of our membership was taken during the rendezvous. So I think we got between 50 and 60 members.
And when do you embark on your trapping season?
1st of November.
And you're going to see me the 15th of December, right? I'll
Yeah.
have my archery deer tag in my pocket.
Yeah, as long as you don't ever tell anybody where I'm taking you. We can't have all these people in there disturbing my bobcats and fox and stuff.
If I don't know where I'm going, how do I tell somebody where I was?
It's all secret.
Exactly.
It's a secret.
Classified.
You're
Exactly.
talking to a trapper now. He doesn't really.
I understand.
Where do I trap?
You're
I trap
a lot
under
bigger
a
than
rock.
I am. You could probably crush my hand with one of those paws. And mine aren't tiny.
I'll draw you a map. I'll get you there.
Okay.
But no, I leave 1st November, and I trap for a week up in Camp Verde on some farms, and then on Mingus Mountain with the cages, and then
Don't say the names of the mountains. Don't say that. Don't say those.
first
names.
week in November, our club, we have a trapping camp as Trapper's Ed, and 3 days of trapping,
Nice.
and then I'll be off in the woods for good until 1st of March.
How many traps do you run at a single?
I got 95 cages and 61 footholds I'll be running this year.
That'll keep you busy for the day.
Yeah.
That's a long run. That's a long
I'm
line to
telling
run.
you. All right, we're going to stand down, come back, get this thing wrapped up, and get on with our day. I'm Don McDowell.
Tom McMahon.
Scott Corcoran.
John Colazar.
The voice of reason
Moderation and reason.
moderation.
Really?
Whatever.
To hear some more.
Yeah, get down right now. All right, we're back. Hey, we're going to get this thing wrapped up. One thing I did not talk about, we got an email from, what's Ken Dinkwell's new title?
Court jester. I'm not quite sure.
Kenny,
I love
we
Kenny.
heard that.
No,
We got that on tape.
I love Kenny. I worked with him a
Yeah,
long time,
love
but
Kenny.
I don't know. You're right. I don't know. So yeah, I'm speechless.
Well,
Even though I'm talking.
we know he can't tune a piano, but he apparently can tune a fish. He
Yes.
sent some photographs in, and we'll get those up on the website.
He went to H&M Landings.
Yeah, he was out there somewhere just whacking tunas. Here's the deal. They're close enough. 3/4-day boats had two boats out, the Malahini and the other one. 53 anglers, 71 yellowtail. That's
wow.
Yeah. 43 rockfish, 1 sand bass, a calico, a barracuda, a couple lingcod. The day boats had 80 anglers out, 105 bluefin. No skipjack.
Bluefin?
No skipjack.
Bluefin, yeah.
Wow.
And then the day and a half boats, let me rephrase that. The day and a half boat had 30 anglers on it, 140 yellowtail, 34 yellowfin, 10 Dorado, and 8 skipjack.
5 fish per stick?
Yeah. Bam.
Wow.
Bam.
That's a lot of bam.
Yeah. So it's still holding, all good, still a chance. We have to go. We have to go. We have to make a pack right now.
You keep threatening
with Mac Tuna over here.
Mac Tuna needs to go.
Yeah.
He definitely needs to go.
Yeah, well, he caught his first albacore 1972. Is that right?
What were you, a baby?
78? I don't know. I'll have to look.
I was 8 years old.
Still have that. Well, okay. What's your advice for boaters at this point, Tom?
Well, pull your plug. When you're coming off of one of the AIS-affected lakes, like a Pleasant, like a Havasu, and by the way, don't be surprised if over the next couple weeks or months that an officer is going to ask you, did you pull your plug? So don't be surprised by that. So just do your due diligence and clean and dry your boat.
We don't want him to ask. We want him to simply pull up and say, you know what, I see your plug's not pulled. Will you just sign here?
Well, that's I guess.
With Tom, with what you're doing, NAIS and enforcement, I know you mentioned talking to the judges and all that. Or if Maricopa County kicks in, City of Peoria kicks in, are they going to be able to use this as a probable cause stop?
I would guess. I'm not a law enforcement guy, but and I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express. But I would guess that.
Nice.
Do I get a plug for that? Do I get any money out of that?
Yeah, sure.
Anyway. I've tried that for years. Every bar I go into at night.
So we will see that out there, but they will get involved because they've wanted to get involved.
Nice.
And it's again. The whole point behind is that it is an Arizona law. It's not just, like I said, it's not just a game and fish law that only.
Well, it's serious. We're what the Central Arizona Quagga team meeting. You posed a question to SRP: is how much money last fiscal year was spent on Quagga maintenance?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be in excess of $12 million.
It's pretty expensive because they SRP.
They're going to pass those along to the users.
Gee, you think?
Yeah.
Well, and to be honest, rightfully so. I mean, it's part of the maintenance for us getting water. That's why we try and get across to the public that's your problem. That these aquatic invasive species is everybody's problem. It's not just an Arizona problem; it's a Western problem. The Columbia River Basin is freaked out that they're going to get these things. But we have them, and we're trying to control what we can.
We're trying to share.
Yeah, and we'd rather not share. But
you go to California with an Arizona boat. Shame on you.
Yep.
You're going to decontaminate. You'll sit there and wait and wait and wait. It's a big deal. California's pretty tough.
And many of the states are, because even our neighbors to the north, and they're worried about actually boats, of course, coming from the Great Lakes too, with zebra mussels. So everybody's very concerned. That's what the point is.
John was laughing at me the other day. It's not just clean, drain, and dry your boat, but clean, drain, and dry your waders, your sneakers.
Yes. All your equipment,
your creels.
We try and put like don't move a mussel or clean, drain, and dry. Yes, when you look at the total message, and you look at what's actually in our brochures and the information we put out. Clean your stuff. Clean your stuff. The boat obviously is big thing that you can grab onto, but all your equipment. Because, what about whirling disease and things of that sort? Because, again, it goes
by the
beyond.
way, can we talk about that whirling disease again? What was the one?
That's what you get at Handlebar J's after 10:30.
Yeah, there's two subjects. So, which one you want to talk about?
The fish one.
Okay. What up?
What is it? What was the one that was on the bass that you were talking about at the commission?
LNDV?
No, with Commissioner Mansell. The circle worm?
Oh, that's a parasitical issue.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a lot easier just to be a hunter.
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
They walk up to you. They look pretty healthy, nice shiny fur. You drop them.
Exactly.
Well, in general, I guess you could say there are various fish diseases out there, and the whole point is that we don't want to take a live and/or body part of a bass and take it to another lake. The point is it's another feature in not moving fish around, so fish have diseases, this whirling disease and things of that sort. Cleaning your equipment is really important because that's moved around by spores, and I'm going to try not to get into the biology of everything of that sort. But the point is you got to clean your stuff. It's just that's where we are now in society. We just got to clean our stuff.
How do you clean, drain, and dry your traps?
I just got done boiling them.
Do you?
In creosote,
Okay.
greasewood bush.
Yep, got it.
Yep, boil them in there for about an hour.
Yep.
See, there we go.
And then they get a light coat of wax on them. They're ready to go for the winter.
Nice.
No scent. No nothing.
Obviously, no scent.
Nope. No, but it preserves them. It's sort of silly. You buy brand new traps and then you want them to rust.
Exactly.
Then you put them in this solution so they turn black, but they won't turn black unless they're rusty. So.
I'm following this logic trail and it scares me.
Brand new traps won't.
Yeah,
brand new traps, brand new metal won't take the color.
Right.
Color. So you got to get them rusty. So you trap with them a year, they get really good and rusty. Now all my traps are really nice and black.
I think it's only appropriate. He's the president of the ADA. He has that during the headlight look a lot down here. What?
Somebody's got to do it.
All right. Any final words on behalf of AIS and the department?
Well, if you want any further information, you can go to azgfd.gov /AIS, and you can learn everything you want to learn about these silly mussels and certainly the AIS laws and things of that sort. But it just comes down to clean your boat, pull your plug, and really the message is, and we've talked about that right now, is again, don't be surprised if you're not visited by an officer of some sort at some of our local lakes, and the conversation may revolve around pulling your plug.
You need to get all your interns a badge and a pistol. I mean, come on.
That would be bad. That's like giving me a badge and a pistol. That only bad things
I didn't include you in
That's a good point. That would be a bad thing. Our officers do a fine job and have learned a lot over the years. So I feel comfortable with them being the badge.
The Magnum PI comes to mind with the shoulder holster.
Book them, Tom. Book them.
Yeah.
You're just going with the shirt again. See, you just can't handle that shirt, John.
You're right.
You gotta love it. Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming down, and certainly your comments were well taken relative to all the federal closures. And my best advice for the public at this point is
bolt cutters.
Bolt cutters. Let's not forget this. And when they do come back to work, I think it's high time we aired some differences with them, not the department. The department's doing a good job trying to herd all these cats, and.
Big Brother needs to hear from us.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's time to, take some stuff back.
Thank you. I agree.
It's like the department. You have MOUs and working agreements with the tunnel that if they can't, for whatever reason, have manpower or financially operate this particular facility, in the game and fish department, we the people had a hand in building it. Let's operate it.
Yeah, we are, and we're concerned about that because obviously we certainly use some of our monies for on boat ramps, and or some of the facilities, so we're concerned about that. Really concerned about that.
All right, you guys have a great weekend. Hope there's not a weed eater involved in it. And Tom, love the shirt.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
I'll bring it next
Scott,
time.
we look forward to having you back and getting Mike down here with his 5-pound bass.
Hug your kids, kiss your bass boat.
Salute a soldier, man. We're out of here.